Hello, Mayumi here. For those who are unaware, I will soon be undergoing male-to-female hormone therapy and living the rest of my life as a woman. Natalie gave me a license, it's official. Trans people like myself suffer from something called gender dysphoria, which is the medical term for a mental disconnect between one's physical self, one's body, and their innate sense of who they feel they are within. Now, when I was 12, I was not mature enough to describe such a condition. I had a feeling as if I was always in the wrong place at the wrong time. I preferred my own company because when I was alone, I didn't have any standards to live up to. I could, for the most part, be content despite feeling like I was everything my parents didn't want me to be. Then I got to 16. I had not long been living independently, and I couldn't explain it, but in social situations I had intense frustration all the time. I didn't want to be noticed, I didn't want friends, and at home the frustration was still there, but I could explore the root of it without judgment or consequence. Why did I have all this anger around people? And why did I not feel like myself under the gaze of other people? I met my first girlfriend when I was about 16. Let's just call her P. Me, P, and her parents were always going to festivals, holidays, and all sorts of other occasions. Sometimes they'd invite me. So we were at a festival, and one night we all decided to dress up. P was dressed in a Victorian Gothic dress with ribbons. And she somehow convinced me to dress in something a bit more androgynous than I'd normally wear. From the instant I stopped fighting her about it and just put it on, all the discomfort and agitation temporarily melted away. That night, no one gave a fuck who I was, and I was just being myself. It felt like coming up for air. I kept my mouth shut the whole weekend. I couldn't wait to get home and explore this more. 3 long years went by. P and I eventually separated, and I had this private me that would strut around in miniskirts and colourful blouses in between work and visiting friends and family. When in public, I was on autopilot, but at home, I was Mayumi. I will now explain how I ended up with the name Mayumi. One night I was watching a Japanese film called Sleeping Bride, directed by Hideo Nakata, who also was the director of the original version of The Ring, called Ringu. I had a box set of all 3 Ring films with a 4th disc thrown in, the aforementioned Sleeping Bride. The film was about a girl whose mother gave birth to her before dying as a result of a plane crash. She was born into a coma but would still age. Suddenly the girl called Yumi wakes up at the age of 18 after being kissed by a boy called Yuichi. I wasn't kissed by a boy, but I really related to Yumi. I felt like I had also been in a coma for much of my life, and had only just found myself. I had woken up. I chose the name Mayumi because of that film and the character Yumi. These days, people either call me Mayumi, Yumi, Mayu, or Tranny. I received a phone call one night from my mum. Things started pretty normal. We just asked how everybody was and talked gossip. My mum rung me at a time when I was deep into my private life, and I hadn't left the house in weeks. I suddenly broke down and whispered through the phone, "I'm in a bra, and I feel happy." Those were my exact words. Believe me, I wish I had said something better, but I was holding so much inside that it all just exploded out of me. At first my mum thought I was trolling, but as she slowly realised I was being serious, she reassured me that she didn't love me any less as a girl. And I was fucking terrified up until she said those words. I had read so many stories of people in my position being completely shunned by their family. I was in a position where if I didn't reveal myself, it would have driven me to suicide, as it nearly had time and time again throughout the years. Shortly after I told my mum that I would be referring myself to a gender clinic, the news filtered through the family and most were supportive. Most on my stepfather's side weren't. But I was lucky. My mum, my 3 sisters, my mum's new husband, they were all very supportive, and I thank them to this day, because if they weren't, that shit could have ended me. We are now going to fast forward a few years to present day. After being single for 4 long years and being convinced I'd never find a girlfriend who had no issue with trans women, I finally hit the jackpot, and 12 months later we are still together. And I'm about to start the treatment after many years on the waiting list. I have given consent for the medication and I should be starting before the year's end. Now, this video is here just to inform you that my appearance will change. And I don't want anyone getting confused by it all. I want to be on camera more in my videos. My channel is going to cover a lot more than just my transition, but all the same, if you're triggered by it, you can just go ahead and unsubscribe. For the rest of you who aren't bothered, thank you for your time. I have lots planned. There's going to be more doll meme content, part 2 of my alternative idol gig, and other various bits and bobs. Take it easy out there, be yourself. Fuck, why do I always sound like Theresa May every time I record these things?